I emailed some 350 CEOs, CXOs, etc. I got 2 replies. So the hit ratio was horrible. But those 2 replies, one of those replies was from the Tinder India CEO.
Ooh.
The influencers back in the day were like, dude, like for a video I'm getting paid 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees, that's a lot for me. But they didn't know their actual value, that they could be paid 60,000 for it. Content creation, if done well, can be insanely rewarding, and I will take Ranveer and Tanmay's examples over there. Incredibly rewarding. But if you give in to your emotion too much, like Tanmay and Ranveer are workhorses. The kind of hate that Tanmay has gone through, the kind of like public lynching he's had, and even Ranveer to quite an extent with all the memes and everything, they just know that at the end only revenue is king. Right.
He's been elected in as Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia. He's worked with some of the top-notch clients, Priyanka Chopra, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Puma, Nike, I don't know how many more brands. And yeah, we have Viraj in the house. He's running a 100+ crore large agency, one of the top-notch in India. So let's once again put your hands together for Viraj. Thank you so much.
What's the average age of this room?
What's the average age of this room? 21.
21. Cool.
So do we want to begin today with where they are all maybe relate to college days?
Yeah.
And then do you want to begin today's session with where they are at maybe 18, 19, 20, 21? How you began this journey? How did you end up becoming what you are today? And can you take us through this journey?
So I'm an engineer. Are there any engineers in the room? Few. Okay. This is mostly BMM,
BMS, BBA, BCom.
Got it. Okay. So I'm an engineer. I started SVKM DJ Sangvi. I'll tell you a little bit about how we started off and how Ranveer and I met. I mean, it's already on the internet. If you guys haven't watched it, that's a shame on us.
I'm assuming everyone has watched Ranveer for sure, right? Yeah, so, everyone.
So Ranveer and I were in the same college. This one day during my freshers when I was 18, I was just fresh off a breakup. So I was like, man, I really need to prove myself out in the world and I need to be this cool guy in college. So I went for the Mr. Freshers gig. And while I was doing that, Ranveer was the host. He was like the cool senior with big tattoos and big biceps and all that. So he was hosting. I tanked the Mr. Freshers. I didn't win it. But I was like, hey, if I need to be friends with cool people in the college, I need to be friends with this guy. So after Mr. Freshers, I went up to him, a little jittery, a little nervous because like he was this big guy and you know he's got people surrounding him and all. And I was like, fuck it, this is my chance. I can cuss, right?
Yeah, you can absolutely cuss. It's normal. These are all marketing students.
Okay,
it's all marketing students.
So I was like, you know what? Let me just go up to him. What's the big deal, right? So I went up to him and just by pure and honest mistake, he was with his friend around and I just nudged his friend a little bit and he had some chutney on his plate which dropped on his friend.
Ooh.
So Ranveer was like, dude, back off, like what's happening? You know, he had that energy towards me. So I just tried to make conversation with him. I was like, okay, whatever. And he remembered me somehow. Now Ranveer got approached by this guy.
By me. In the year 2013.
2013 or 14.
2013.
And Ranveer, and like he reached out, he was, you know, coming to our college, doing this. It was at a smaller scale back then. It's now become this massive organization. But he reached out to Ranveer saying that, dude, like I think stock market is the next big thing and, you know, people should learn about it, etc. Let's sell this course. And Ranveer was like, okay, I'll do it, but I need to find a few bakras in the first year. So he didn't know anyone. He only remembered me from the first year because I cared enough to have a conversation with him. So then he stalked me on Facebook. he saw that I had written a few, like, I used to write a lot of Facebook statuses back in the day, which were like my way of tweeting back in 2013. So I had a lot of opinions about sports, about politics, about pop culture, all of that. So he realized that, okay, this guy might have some intelligence to be able to work with me on this. So he reached out to me, and then I also took my time. I saw his message, I left him on scene. I had that little bit of my fresher attitude going on. So I was like, okay, after 2 hours, I responded to him. I was like, okay, let's meet. And then he told me about it was Good Life Education back then.
IIDE back then was called Good Life Education, to people who don't know that.
So that's how it started. Then I was like, okay, I'll do it for the name of a certificate. Ranveer got paid. I didn't get a penny. I was like, okay, all right, that's fine by me. So then that's how it happened. We started working together. I interned basically on this with him, and we were selling stock market courses. During that time, what happened is, of course, Karan is this super charming, good-looking guy, speaking like fucking amazing English. He's just taking the college by storm. Okay, he's like, fuck, who's this good-looking guy? We just have to sign up to this course anyway. So
we did 100 students.
we did
We did 100 students in 5 days.
That's insane, and that was a record.
Yeah, it was a record.
Yeah.
It was record that time.
Yeah. So I think so. Yeah. So that's how this is. Okay, this is a trend or
trend,
okay,
yeah.
okay. This okay, cool. Yeah. So that's how it started, and then Ranveer and I realized that there was some working chemistry. So once he graduated and he started training people, he started training Tanmay Bhatt. He started his own YouTube channel, and then I was in my last year of college, and I had started this thing called Entrepreneurship Cell because I didn't suck up to my seniors in the main cultural festival. I wasn't in the committee the next year. So I was like, fuck it, I'll start my own committee. And I didn't start the committee up for anything. I was just going for my master's, so I needed some good creds on my CV. So I was like, okay, let's start this thing called eCell. We don't have one in college. But the thing about starting a committee is that you need to actually host events and provide some value. Now I had no one in my network at that point of time. Like I didn't know anyone who was doing anything cool or who was like a big established person. So then I was like, okay, maybe I can call Ranveer. He has some 40-50,000 subscribers. And at that point, that was a huge number. Like in 2017, this used to be a big deal. So I call him up and I told him that, hey, I'm doing this. I'd love to host you. And he's like, who's this? So then that's what happened. I called him in. I thought that he would need no publicity because he was Ranveer and bare biceps. Like I thought everyone knew about him. So I just put out a poster on the college group thinking everyone would enroll. So I didn't market it at all. 15 people ended up showing up. So I had to, at the last moment, call up all my friends, fill up the front seats, and also, so he also saw the hustle that he's like, well, he didn't get offended. That's one thing about him. It's seriously difficult to offend that guy. Like, no matter what kind of hate, what kind of memes, it doesn't matter to him. For him, he's always thinking about growth. So that's what happened. And then he reached out. He's like, hey, you know what? Why don't we actually work together? Like, you're the Gujarati in this. You can sniff money out of this creativity that I'm trying to bring out into the world. Why don't we join hands and just figure something out? And I'd already applied for my master's. I'd gotten a job from campus placement. But I was still like, okay, I'll do this on the side. I didn't know anything about marketing or brands or outreach, nothing. I was just trying to wing it. I was not even an extrovert, honestly. But it's just that I like speaking a lot. Like, I would do a lot of public speaking events. I've done a lot of MUNs. So think like engineering was never my thing. It was only peer pressure. Clearly.
So you didn't, I just want to cut you for a second. So how was engineering education? Did you focus on it at all?
No, not at all. So I'll tell you what, in the third semester, I scored the lowest GPA in the college. Like, people didn't even know there was such a thing as 5.35 GPA. Like, people thought that meant you failed. Like, the lowest you can go is maybe 6. And that was a shocker for me in life. Like, that shook me up. And the next semester, I scored the highest in one of the subjects. People thought I cheated because there's no way this guy can score. I gave my GRE before anyone else in my batch. I scored a 321 on 340, which was decent. So I started to really change up my life a little bit like that. And yeah, like I was only, like, I was really good with languages and social sciences and all. I should have taken arts. But you know, there was that peer pressure at that point that, dude, if you're a guy, you can't be taking arts. You know, you need to be an engineer. You need like a real career and stuff like that. So I mean, I succumbed to that and I took science. But in retrospect, it's a good thing that I did. And eventually, I met Ranveer, and the next 2-3 core people from our team are also from DJ Sangvi.
Wow, from college?
Yeah.
Wow.
So Ayush, who's also a founding member in the company, was 2 years my junior.
Oh, so Ranveer,
I am
2 years junior.
Yeah.
And then Ayush is 2 years junior.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how it worked out. So yeah, in retrospect, I think things always work out if you're taking the right shots. I don't mean to make this pseudo motivational at all so early on in the beginning. But yeah, that's how it started. So I started reaching out to brands, this, that. I didn't know that brands had agencies, that brands didn't always take decisions on their own. So I am cold emailing. Look at the guts, right? I am cold emailing. I am a 22-year-old nobody. Like, no one knows about me. And at that point, no one even really knew about Ranveer. He was just a budding creator. And I was like, guys, you know, there's this new cool way of marketing. It's called influencer marketing. And you should invest your marketing budget into something like this. I have this guy, I only had Ranveer to represent at that point of time. I have this guy, he makes fitness, motivational kind of content. And you should really work with him. He will give you the right kind of audience. I emailed some 350 CEOs, CXOs, etc. I got 2 replies. So the hit ratio was horrible, like less than 1%, right? But those 2 replies, one of those replies was from the Tinder India CEO.
Ooh.
And I just randomly reached out to her saying that I reached out to her because I knew Tinder was the cool new brand that was investing in something like this. So she immediately connected me to her marketing head. And if you go to YouTube and find Bare Biceps Tinder, you'll find this one video he's made on just tips for guys to make a Tinder profile. So, you know, he's trying to game it. He's like, wait, get a picture with a dog, you know, just have a picture with friends so that people don't think you're a loner or you're a serial killer. You know, so we try to make it fun. And back in the day, this was all news. Like, now every guy on Tinder has a picture with a cat or a dog. Like, now it's just a thirst trap. So, you know, stuff like that. So that's how we made our first, that was the first outward deal I made. That was 80,000 rupees for one YouTube video.
Wow.
And that was a lot of money. Like at that point, sitting at home, making a video, making 80,000 rupees was madness.
Which year is this?
It's 2017.
Wow.
Sorry, 2016, like late 2016, whatever. Yeah. Our first ever deal was actually with this brand, which is an energy drink brand. They paid us 7,500 rupees to post a static image of Ranveer drinking the energy drink.
Ooh.
And that really got me thinking that, okay, if this brand is stupid enough to pay us 7,000 rupees for just posting a picture on the internet, there really seems to be some mad scope in this industry.
Wow.
In 3 months, I quit my consulting job and I was just doing secondary research for them. I was just calling up people, etc., getting information for them. And actually, the funny story to that is that I used to be on calls all the time, but it was actually never for the company. It was to crack deals for Ranveer. So I used to block cabins saying that, yeah, I have calls to do. but I would secretly do calls with brands to lock deals for Ranveer. And I also used to judiciously use my lunch break to set up all my meetings and calls during that time so that I wouldn't raise a lot of suspicion. So that I would also be able to do the company
Justice,
job.
yeah.
Yeah. So one of my managers pulled me up to the side, and both of them actually asked me, "Dude, who do you talk to during the lunch break?" I wasn't expecting that question, okay? Like, I froze and I could have said anything. I could have said my girlfriend, my friend. I said my mom. Like, the most ridiculous answer I could have given. Of course, they didn't buy it at all. But, and in the next week, I put in my papers. So, like, they were sweet. They were concerned. They're like, dude, you're leaving like a consulting job for YouTube. And it didn't come out of like, they didn't try to look down on me. They were just concerned that, dude, YouTube is so like unstable.
Yeah.
How are you going to survive? That you have a good job now. Why don't you do this? And that is when I feel like the cusp of the gig economy really started to take off.
Wow.
You know, 2017, 2018, when people started to realize that maybe you don't like need always a 9 to 5 to have that status in your family thinking that हाँ मेरे बेटे का consulting का job है. And at that point, my mom didn't believe in it, but luckily I had an elder brother who supported me through it. He's like, dude, don't worry. I've got the family. I don't come from an affluent background at all, and we were actually on quite a downer at that point in life. We lost a lot of money and all that. So my brother he's still a professor, and he's a GST professor. So he took the responsibility, saying that, dude, okay, take your time, take a few months. I got the family, and then because of that push, I got the luxury to experiment, wait it out, and then like the rest is history for me. Like, so he plays a big role in me being able to do what I did. So yeah, I feel like all that is always important. It's never like no one's self-made and all that shit, right? Like, there's so much luck that played out. Like, if I joined SPIT instead of DJ Sangvi, I would probably never met Ranveer, and this company probably would never have been in existence. Stuff like that. So I feel like luck always plays such a big factor, but you gotta be able to put yourself in those spots. Like, that's what I feel is your hard work. That's it. It's getting peachy again. We'll get to the next one.
But I want to tell you all on that note, you've also come to IIDE. And if you want to have a similar experience, then even you need to make those friends.
Yeah.
And you need to think of
Yeah.
that as destiny. And you saw his co-founders, one of his co-founders is his senior, his other co-founder or founding team member is a junior.
Yeah.
That means all of you all need to be very good friends with each other. Is that, yeah?
And you gotta complement each other's skill sets, right? So, for example, I was an introvert. I didn't like going to parties. I didn't like chilling with other people and all. Ranveer is the bang opposite. Like, he's this bubbly guy. He'll just go up to anyone and talk. Like, anyone. A 70-year-old or a 10-year-old.
I want to share this experience, guys, and I very explicitly remember my days with Viraj and Ranveer in the year 2013 and 14, and I'll tell you who did what job. Okay, so we were promoting stock market courses, and I'll just tell you the personality types that time. My job was to go out and give a seminar in every classroom saying, guys, learn stock markets. Everyone would walk outside and then check if Karan is good or bad, and that guy would be Ranveer, giving assurance to everybody.
He's
Damn
the
good.
insider guy, yeah.
Yeah, he's the insider guy. Damn good course. Y'all should join. Y'all should join. And then they would go down, and registrations were taken up by, I think, Viraj and Aditi or someone. And Viraj was the focused guy taking, I think, the money, taking the registrations. But all of us played these unique roles, and I really remember them being a split personality that time.
Yeah.
You were doing all the back end and he was the front end, and that I think that relationship is probably even true today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it true?
I mean, I've taken up a bit of a front end role now also because the company demands it.
Nice.
But the thing is, you can't ever be completely an introvert. Like, I'm an introvert by heart, but like when I go to a party or when I'm going at some kind of an event, I will ensure I at least speak to 3 new people. Generally, like and the thing is, the business I'm in, there's no involvement of tech. like in the agency business. At the end of it, you can automate things with tech, but your sale has to come from somewhere, and that is going to be a person. And sales is all relationships. No, you have to talk to people, you have to pitch yourself to them, you have to be able to charm them, or else there is no sale, there is no business. Like if Karan was an introvert and he would have just been like, dude, speaking to 100 people gives me anxiety, he would never have come to the college. And like IID for that matter would not have been in existence, for example. So I think you always need to be an extrovert if you're trying to build a business. Like if you're a researcher, if you're doing a PhD, I get it. Like you need to be you're introverted, maybe that works out for you because you need to spend a lot of alone time. But when you're building a company, you need to be gelling with even your employees, your clients, your vendors, everything. So it's okay if you're an introvert, train your mind to become an extrovert in situations where it needs you to be one. So that's the takeaway. Yeah.
So let's now that we know how engineering was and
Yeah.
how the founding days have come across MonkE, tell us exactly what MonkE does.
Yeah.
If you're comfortable sharing how the first few years revenue growth has been in the past, anything that you'd like to share, but tell us more about MonkE. What does MonkE do?
So basically, when we started off, I was only representing Ranveer. And then I was like, man, okay, this caps my potential. I don't want to be a manager. I know I can build like big businesses. So then we thought of an idea. We were like, okay, what we're doing with Ranveer, why don't we replicate this across other people that were his friends? So we started a company. Ranveer gave me his network, and my job was to take that network and get them money. Simple. So he connected me to a bunch of his fitness influencers. So there was Abhinav Mahajan, there was Gaurav Taneja, so a bunch of people at that time. Cooking Shooking is a cooking channel. Niharika also, I was introduced to by Ranveer, who we still manage, Niharika NM. And she's one of my top talent. So that's what happened. And my job was to not slack on it, not take it for granted, ensure that, okay, if I've been introduced to someone, get them an opportunity ASAP. So the brands I was already speaking to, I was like, okay, I have Ranveer, but you know what? I also have a cooking channel now. How about we integrate your like healthy cooking brand into his content? Or how about we integrate Tinder into a comedy sketch? Things like that. So like my mind got clicking soon, and as soon as I got money, I won their vote of trust. Then like they came for Ranveer, but they stuck for me. It's like, okay, it doesn't matter who's introducing you, okay, but if you don't show up and if you don't deliver on the promise that the person has introduced you to, you will lose the client. So just simple. As soon as I put money in their bank, right, and I put money in their bank before they even delivered the video, that was just insane to them. They'd never experienced something like that. So then they got even more fired up to deliver a very quality product. So that happened, and I won their vote of trust, and that's going on even till now, 7-8 years now.
Wow.
So that's what's important. So act fast on things like, especially in an agency business, urgency is everything, right?
Sure.
So without that, you're nobody. Like, I mean, there will be 10 other people who will do the same thing at maybe even a cheaper cost, but you also need to operate with a sense of urgency. So that's what happened.
So primarily today, MonkE is a talent management
Yeah.
and influencer marketing business.
So, I mean, we like to call ourselves a new media company. I'll explain the term. New media is basically that I feel a lot of the traditional forms of media, which could be journalism, which could be newspapers, which could be radio, which could be a comedy channel like Comedy Central, are all getting replaced by individual creators. So for news, you have a Dhruv Rathi or an Abhi New or Think School. For comedy now, you go to either Bhuvan Bam, Ashish Chanchlani, Jord Indian, whatever your taste of comedy is. Radio's been replaced by podcasts. So I feel like media is going through a significant amount of change now, and it's been long pending, and this kind of tectonic shift hasn't come in a while. where you're seeing that TV viewership is dipping because people are more glued to the screens on their phones. Because people prefer watching YouTube content or reels for hours instead of watching like a TV show, for example. So our goal is to drive all the money that existed in these traditional forms of media to new media. So, for example, if I'm bringing a sponsor on Ranveer's podcast or Raj Shamani's podcast, that's that's a tectonic shift for the industry because there was no money in this sphere before. So a brand like Mountain Dew or Agio is choosing to invest the money that they would have invested on TV or billboards into a digital form or digital content. And these are not small brands. These are like legacy brands who it takes forever to convince that dude, you've already missed the train. Run fast. I'll tell you the story about our first few clients. My first ever, like one of my first ever clients was Mama Earth.
Wow.
So there's two sides of the business. One is where we represent creators and talent, and two is where we represent brands. Because the big money is actually with the brands.
Oh.
So if I'm going to the talent, their brands are only coming to me for those 5, 7 talent. But when I'm going to the brand, I'm getting a big chunk of their budget allocated to me. So a brand will be like, hey, you know what? I have 10 lakhs to spend in a month. Give me whatever influencer in the world that suits my brand, not just from your own roster. So we started working with Mama Earth from day one. And we work with them till date. A big change or growth lever for them competing against big brands like Unilever and P&G has been influencer marketing. And it's something the founders have said. They were able to eclipse a lot of these guys and get cheaper attention because they were attracting younger audiences that were super active on platforms like YouTube and Instagram. That's something that HUL was really late to the party in, for example. Now they're spending a hell lot of money on influencer marketing. So that's what our journey was. But even for that, I'll give you a more nuanced example and story to that. When we onboarded Mama Earth, they were only doing a few influencers with us. Now, the brand was willing to pay a high amount for the viewership that talent was getting. So the talent is getting, say, 1 lakh views. For that, they could have charged, which is 0.6 cost per view. Okay, this is just CPV is a term that brands use to measure their return on investment.
0.6 would be like a
Is
would be a
It's
good
decent,
number.
yeah.
It's a decent number. CPV 0.6.
But the talent was like, the influencers back in the day were like, dude, like for a video, I'm getting paid 10,000 rupees, 20,000 rupees. That's a lot for me. But they didn't know their actual value, that they could be paid for it. So what we did is we overcharged the brand. We told them, yeah, I mean, this is at 60,000 rupees. And we told the influencer also that, okay, if you want 20,000 is what you're charging me, I will pay 1,000 rupees. But I'll keep the to me. They were okay with that. It was a win-win. Varun got to know that the influencer's cost was actually 20,000, and I bumped it up. I just didn't want to mess up the market, honestly. Like brands have a lot of money, so they can afford to shell out this money and be fair. So then he called me up and he's like, dude, you're charging me way more. I'm getting better deals from other people. This is not fair. Now I could have either held on to my ego and I could have said fuck you to him. And I could have not made all the crores of revenue that he's given us over the 7 years. Because I was making 20, 30,000 in a shot at that time. Now that would have been short-term thinking. But instead I told him, okay, I will fix this for you. From today onwards, we'll work on a fixed percentage commission. You will have complete visibility on what each influencer is charging. Just give me a retainer business. He loved that. He was like, okay, let's do it. So I fucked up, but then I also won his word of trust quickly, and that helped us. Like during the times when there was COVID and stuff like that, when company revenue had dipped to zero, it was clients like him that kept giving us some work which
Wow.
helped us pay off some salaries here and there. So it's important to also note things like this, that in a business, for example, or generally in life, there are going to be moments where you're going to have to keep your ego aside and think logically in terms of revenue or gains, or what your kind of position is in that role in that organization, for example.
Varun is Varun Alag, and he's the founder at Mama Earth.
Yeah.
To reinstate that. So right now, just to check, so you take retainers from brands,
Yeah.
and then you have influencers or content
Correct.
creators on board,
Yeah.
and then in some clients' cases, you pass the real value and you charge a percentage on that.
Correct.
That is the business.
Correct. Yeah.
And
so there's two sides of it. One is we have talents on board. We charge a 20% fee to them on all of the deals. Any deal that comes from anywhere, if they make money, we make money. We don't charge anything for the YouTube revenue that they do because we're not involved in the production. So only brand deal money, we charge a 20% cut on. So that's effectively a retainer for us
that's your retainer.
from the talent side of business.
So when the brand pays the content creator,
Yeah.
if they pay them $100, $120,
Yeah.
$20 margin is
Yeah, correct.
Monks.
Correct.
Okay.
And the second part is working with brands where we're basically reaching out to them, getting a chunk of their budget, and then also charging a fixed commission to them.
Okay.
So we'll say, okay, we'll charge 10%, 15%, 8%, 20%, whatever it is. We agree upon that fee and then we make money on that as well.
And who would be top clients for you today?
Today, a lot of beauty brands, like we work with Nykaa a lot, we work with Dot & Key, we work with Plum Goodness, we work with, say for example, we work with Google a lot as a client. They bring on a lot of brands for us. Asian Paints is a big client for us. What else? Meta is a big client for us. But basically any brand that's operating in a space where they need to target the younger audiences is a client for us. Like effectively any brand in India, I would say, at some point of time we have worked with them. Now these could also include legacy brands like brands under Reliance, like Agio, for example, or Tira Beauty, or brands under Tata, like Big Basket, for example, is a big client for us. Yeah, so like these brands have also started spending a lot now in influencer marketing. So it's not just the startups anymore. A lot of legacy brands have now started realizing, in fact, we're driving a lot of education to these brands. For example, going to a Haldiram's or a Parle Ji, they have no idea about influencer marketing.
Wow, such a large brand. Haldi.
Right, crazy. So they don't know the potential that can come through, because the younger lot probably doesn't know about Haldiram's as much, right? They know about Theobroma,
Yeah.
stuff like right? Like what the hell is Haldiram? So they also need marketing. As big of a brand they are, all brands need marketing. We also work with McDonald's and Starbucks. I mean, everyone needs marketing at all points of time. If they're launching something new, it needs to be told to people. So even these brands spend money with us. I think the only brands that don't spend on influencer marketing would be Apple and Nike. They just send their products to them. And that's enough. They're like, dude, you're an influencer, take my iPhone. Take my new shoe. Stuff like that.
And who would be some of the top content creators who are exclusively or probably working with?
So we have Niharika NM, we have Yashraj Mukhate, we have Ranveer, we have the chef called Sanjot Keer. He runs this channel called Your Food Lab. I mean, like plenty names. Like we recently signed this guy called Joseph Radhik, who's an ace photographer. He's shot the Ambani wedding. He shot all celebrity weddings. Virat, Anushka, Vicky, Katrina, things like that. So, signing him. We also usually are on the lookout now for signing younger talent. So there's this 16-year-old Punjabi rapper who's touted to be the next Sidhu Moosewala called Harsh Likhari. He blew up on the internet. He's already at some 2-3 million followers on Instagram. We also represent him. So, I mean, that's the kind of roster we're working with now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you guys like to? Okay. So, just because we're talking about this, and I am really amused by influencers, and I want to know, and I hope it's okay for you to share whatever it is, but how much do they charge? What's the math behind it? Is the math 0.6 on CPV, on cost per view?
No, I mean, as the talent management arm of our company, we try to always bump up the rates so that we can also make a higher share of it. But in like we try to keep it fair. So for example, it's not always 0.6. Now, for example, I think cost is always generally how economics works is the question you need to ask is how replaceable are you? If you are not replaceable, you can ask for the world and more, and people will give it to you, right? Simple. This is also if you're doing a job. If you are someone that the company depends on, you can ask whatever absurd amount of appraisals, and I can bet on my life that the company will
Give it to you.
at least come close to your universe. So, and I can say that as a business owner myself. So, people that I know that will drive significant amount of revenue or creativity or are the solid leaders that are able to drive and get more out of other people, I will 100% retain them. I've done even 100%, 200% appraisals annually for some of my folks because they deserved it, because I know that 2 years from now they'll derive a lot more value for the company. So yeah, I mean, it's about how replaceable you are. For example, someone like Niharika NM, there is no female content creator in her scale that attracts such a big South Indian audience. So that's a crazy niche. Like Kusha Kapila doesn't have it. Dolly Singh doesn't have it. I don't know mostly Sane doesn't have it. So when brands come to us saying that we want to work with Niharika because she's not just demanding a big South audience, she also is a pan-India creator, which is usually not the case with creators from the South. In fact, a lot of people think she's a global creator, and people think she doesn't even live in India because she lived in LA for 3 years. Which works to our advantage because then I quote global rates to them. It's like, okay, all right. So that niche is very is solid. Take Yashraj Mukhate for example. He is the number one in what he does, creating jingles, creating viral mashup videos. Like he was iconic all throughout COVID and even till now. Anything that he touched turned into gold. So when brands come to us, they don't negotiate because they only want to work with him. They don't want to work with the number two in that game. So then we can quote whatever we want till it's reasonable. So that's the case. Ranveer, for example, they will not like if they want to be on his podcast, they will only want to be on his podcast. They don't want to go to a number two. So you got to be irreplaceable in your domain. Like for that matter, even Sanjot Keer, right? So he's the way he presents and produces his videos is second to none. Like I know that Sanjeev Kapoor and Ranveer Brar go to him to get tips on how to produce content. They may be better chefs, but Sanjot is a better video storyteller. And that's what you get paid for from brands. Like these big brands and their like CMOs are like, man, we need our videos to look like yours when they play in restaurants and when they play in our kiosks and all that. So stuff like that. Like you really need to own a segment. Then like sky's the limit totally. Then you're not a middleman. Like you're not someone who's mediocre, who's just trying to do something. You're top of the game. Like Ranveer dictates the ceiling on how much podcasters should get paid. If I get lowballed by a brand, the thing is, I'm not just doing injustice to Ranveer, I'm actually doing injustice to the entire podcaster community because tomorrow, if a client goes to them and tells them that I got Ranveer at a cheaper rate than you, then they're going to come to me. Dude, what are you doing? Like, why are you not setting a higher ceiling? We deserve it.
One of your largest paying clients, like or largest campaigns, or if you can tell us X brand.
Mountain Dew was one of our largest ever deals. We did a 16 episode deal with Ranveer.
Wow.
It went into multiple crores.
Wow.
It was easily our like biggest deal by far.
Wow.
But I mean, I'll tell you about some of the like relatively easier deals, right? Like 16 episodes was still a lot of work. So see, the thing is that like any other industry, it's an 80-20 principle, right? Like 80% of the money is made by the top 20%. In content, it's not even the top 20%, it's the top 5% people. So you will always see brands wanting to repeatedly work with Tanmay Bhatt, Ranveer, Prajakta Kohli, Niharika, likes of these. But what's also happening though is now I'm seeing, especially if you're in the right category and don't have big numbers, you will still make more money through content creation than you will probably through your job. And I'm saying this in a way where it's also kind of detrimental to me because this is the biggest problem I face in my organization. I have 24-year-old talent managers representing 19-year-old talents, where the 19-year-old talent is making 30x more money than the talent manager. Um, but I mean, that's the harsh truth of life in a way where, I mean, they took the risk and they got rewarded for it. So there's an interesting story that I had an intern in my company called Divya Fofani. I used to pay him 12,000 rupees a month as stipend. And he was an outgoing guy. He was like, okay, I like to do events and all that. And then he actively pursued his content creation journey. Now he's making a month.
What? Wow.
And we only represent him. So after he left us as an intern, no, when we signed him, I told him you can't be with us any longer as an intern. Because now you have company secrets. Now you're a client of ours. You can't be having company secrets. So yeah, so that's what's happened. But the thing is, it might all seem like grass is greener on the other side. What the big question is sustainability, right? Like how, like for what periods of time can you make that 2-3 lakhs a month? And the thing is also more than sustenance, it's a mental impact. Imagine you're making 3 lakh rupees a month as a 21-year-old. The dopamine hits you're getting in life are unparalleled, insane. You're top of the world. You think you're the king, right? Suddenly, and this is a very unstable market, suddenly there are marketing budget cuts. You don't get any brand deal for 2 to 3 months. Your world comes crashing down. And it takes a significant amount of mental stability to be able to get through that kind of a phase. And this happens to thousands of creators. Like I've seen this from very close quarters. That you're making lakhs a month, suddenly there's no money. You're now questioning all your career choices, you're questioning everything, you're questioning if you even want to be in this industry because this industry is brutal. Whatever seems too easy is probably not, right? It's one of those things that content creation, if done well, can be insanely rewarding. And I will take Ranveer and Tanmay's examples over there. Incredibly rewarding. But if you give in to your emotion too much, like Tanmay and Ranveer are workhorses. They they almost have no emotions, I would say, at this point. The kind of hate that Tanmay has gone through, the kind of like public lynching he's had, and even Ranveer to quite an extent, with all the memes and everything, they just know that at the end only revenue is king. Like, nothing else. Like, money may not solve for all problems, but it solves for most problems. Um, so, so yeah, they're happy, like crying in their big houses. Uh, I'm not saying that they don't have like breakdowns. Of course they do. That comes with fame. Fame is the most, like, it's more addictive than cocaine. I can guarantee you this. I've not done cocaine, but yeah, it's true. Like fame is like incredibly addictive. It's like look at the Shark Tank entrepreneurs. No,
Yeah.
they were nobodies. Like no one cared about an Aman Gupta. Today he's getting called to all these events. We took him to Cannes last year. So he's at the red carpet, first Indian entrepreneur walking the red carpet, getting all this attention. He gets clicked more than influencers or celebrities in today's time. And he has all the money in the world. But you know what he enjoys most? Getting recognized on the street. Getting asked for a picture. Because after a point, any kind of money has the same value.
Yeah.
Like, what can it buy you? Like, I mean, for me, earlier I was like, what if I can get like 2 boxes of Ferreros without thinking twice? You know? Then I was like, okay, what if I don't have to look at the right side of the menu when I go to a restaurant? Then it's like, okay, can I book an air ticket to any place in the world that I want to at the last moment? Like, I want to go in 4 hours. Can I book a flight ticket right now and afford it? So then it hits a cap. But with fame and power, I think that those are two things that you can't ever like have enough of.
Wow,
So,
man.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Tell us something about, because, you know, is there anybody over here who wants to begin your own digital agency in the future? Anybody out here? Anyone? Oh, quite some hands.
There needs to be more people. You can't just be doing a job all your life.
So tell us some of the early revenues of your organization. Was there a sign of sometimes not making enough money, or how was COVID? But tell us some numbers if you're comfortable, at least of the early years, so that people understand what the hardships are.
The thing is, the way we're built, we're very different from a Connect or a Shebang because they're more focused on working with clients like brands and servicing them creatively or handling their media budgets and things like that. We're in the influencer marketing industry where generally numbers are higher, but we were just getting started off at that point. So my thought was we were completely bootstrapped. We've never raised funds, any money. What we did is that, I mean, at least my thought was always that I need to be profitable from day one because we're a service business. It's easy to do that. I don't have to invest in inventory or any of the other
Machines
things.
or
Yeah, or big. I didn't need to hire engineers
But
and all
with
that.
how much money did you start the company?
So it was 1 lakh. So Ranveer put in 1 lakh because he'd earned that money through his training and all. So he put in the first capital. And thankfully, because of his mom, we had a very small, like his mom is a doctor. So we had like one of our older clinics as the space, like very tiny room, like
120 square feet,
yeah,
120
square feet. Yeah, it was just me when we started off. Ranveer was completely focused on his content creation, and we decided that I don't need you involved in the business. The more you grow as a YouTuber, the more this business benefits. So that's how I started off. We started making money with Ranveer. Then I started getting deals for other talent, which means that the company revenue started growing. See, like for me, it was always a numbers game that I need to get to a higher revenue every year. Simple. That was the game, and that's a sales game. I don't like. There used to be a lot of companies that used to come up with like tech tools around influencer marketing. You know, we'll build a platform, we'll connect the brand and the influencer, all of that jazz. And I mean, I was also a little dumb, so I could not think of shit like that, which kind of helped me because I also realized that India is a very people-focused market. A brand will want to call the manager of an influencer and tell him, "Sun 20,000 rupees kam le." There is like no machine can come in and do that. No computer or software can come in and do that. Everyone wants that personal touch. So I realized that technology may not like completely, disrupt this market. So anyway, that's what happened.
How was COVID?
COVID was bad.
Wouldn't COVID, because no one had budgets, people were slashing budgets.
Yeah, yeah.
Because digital penetration or digital viewership grew up.
So for the first 2-3 months, it was dead. Like I know in March, our revenue was zero. Zero. Like, no one spent any money. April also was zero. March we started seeing, May we started seeing some uptick because by then people were like, okay, people are at their homes, we need to market to them. How do we do it? Influencers. Influencers are sitting at home, they have their own equipment. So this is what I believe, right? Influencer is 5 agencies in one. They are the production agency, they're the creative agency, they're the media buying agency because they also have distribution. They are the PR or talent agency also. So all of that combined in one is these guys. And we saw a lot of growth, a lot of insane number of creators that popped out of COVID only. We call them lockdown creators.
You know, there was a time in the lockdown, I think everybody in their house had
Yeah.
like this circular ring light.
Yeah.
Everybody, I think, had a ring light. I think ring light sales were on its peak, man,
Yeah.
during COVID.
Everyone's cooking, everyone's dancing, all of that stuff. Everyone's doing fitness videos, all that shit. So yeah, like COVID was peak for influencer marketing.
Was peak, right?
Yeah.
How many people work at MonkE today?
We have 110 people.
110 people?
Yeah.
Wow. And uh, how old are these people, or, you know,
So average age must be 23, 24.
so very young.
Very young, very young. So I have various teams. So talent management team, average age would be 22, 23. Like
Which is your age, guys. Which is your age. Would you want to work in that? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
we have openings, so I mean, just check our either website or my stories. I usually put out openings there. But next is the influencer marketing team, which is just agency relationship team. Must be 24, 25. I have a sales team, which is again 23-year-olds. Like I had the option to bring in significantly older folks who are experienced, who have a network, etc.
I tried that. It did not work out because all these people were people who were doing sales in TV and traditional media, and they just didn't understand the creator ecosystem. They didn't know names of creators. So the thing is, if you can't have that, doesn't matter what kind of clients you bring to the table, it's not going to work out. You need to know who a Nancy Tyagi is, or who an Ankit Bain Puria is, or who a Masoom Meena Wala is, for example. If you don't know that, you're not going to be able to sell anything. So what I realized is, instead of having 35-year-olds and giving them like fat salaries, why don't I get 23-year-olds within the same salary bracket and spend some time to groom them? I will also be investing with them in the longer run. Plus, they will get the confidence of a lifetime, honestly, by bringing in revenue. I think that's the biggest confidence boost in life, generally. Like, if you can directly impact companies' revenue through sales or through your creative firepower, you will generally operate with a lot more confidence.
So, but how do these 23-year-olds approach like a Nike or some new brands?
Yeah.
Established brands have a network with you, but I'm 23, I'm working for you. I have a revenue target?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I have a revenue target.
Yeah.
Everybody has a revenue target. Without that, you don't get paid. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do I get new brands? I write cold emails till now.
So, I mean, thankfully for them, using names on our roster helps, or even or the company name either. Like, if they don't know about the company, I'm sure they know at least about one creator on our roster. Like, if they don't know about Beer Biceps, they'll know about Niharika. If they don't know about Niharika, they'll know about Yashraj. Someone they'll know about on a roster. So that's an easy inlet into knowing that, okay, these guys seem like they're trustworthy.
But how do you find them?
The clients?
Yeah.
So LinkedIn, cold emails. Honestly, now there are so many tools that can scrape off numbers from LinkedIn also. So I prefer to text them over WhatsApp so that they feel like, okay, we got their number through a mutual connection. That makes it a slightly more warmer lead. But yeah, or they'll ask me for their number. So if I know the founder, I'll get the number of the marketing person there, and then I'll pass it on to them. But this is generally how the funnel is created.
So basically, find people through LinkedIn, find their
Always.
phone numbers.
Yeah.
Through
Or-
tools.
Or if they have like 500 followers on Instagram, there's a better chance they might reply to you there. So it's simple. You need to find a platform where they don't have ample of followers, or where you know that they would check their profile regularly. Simple. So go where there is least resistance or least amount of traffic, basically.
And just hit them.
Just hit them, yeah. Hit them up. Dude, everyone wants to work. If you can bring value, they will respond to you. And what's the worst? They will not respond to you. What's the big deal? Like, what's going to happen? No one knows this. It's between you and that person. So they're not going to broadcast it to the world. Hey, like, Akshay messaged me that other day and I left him on scene. Dude, you guys get left on scene by all your crushes anyway. So use that as like motivation. Treat the client like a crush. So honestly, I feel like sales is a lot like flirting. Um, like that's how I relate. So anytime I'm hiring someone for sales, one of my questions actually is like, are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? Have you ever dated in your life before? Because it just tells me a lot about to date someone, you need to make an approach, right? Like, that's the same with sales. Like, you need to be able to be vulnerable enough to tell your feelings to someone, right? Same thing with sales. You're just doing that for money. You're doing, you're doing this for love. You're doing this for money. So, that's the only key difference. But sales is exactly like flirting. Like, if you know how to flirt, which is why I tell people that flirt with people more. It's, if you are in sales, it's going to help you be more charming and engage the other person a lot more. That's all that is required in sales. If you can be confident enough, if you can be charming enough, but the third point is if you are faff, they will see through it. So also add value. But if you do the first two and add value, you will be God level. If you're just adding value but you're not charming enough, you'll be mid tier. If you're being charming but have no value, you're nothing.
Bullshit.
Yeah. So just that. Yeah.
Wait, so I really want to clarify one thing,
Yeah.
and it would be best to hear it from your
Yeah.
mouth. A lot of these students, when they hear the word sales,
Yeah.
or when they hear the word sales job,
Yeah.
business development
Yeah.
job, all of them will put their hands down.
Because you think it's a call center job or you have to just cold call people.
Let's take a poll. How many of you guys would sign up for a sales job? Look at that.
Just guys. One female. Two.
Tell them who gets paid the most and
Dude. Come on. Like, if you're directly impacting revenue, you are in a position to tell the employer, fuck you, you give me a bonus. And you can give them numbers. Like, I have driven X number of money to your company, which you probably wouldn't have made if I didn't do the sale for you. So, like, that's the game. I feel like, and this is like, it was a shocker to me also. When a lot of the people that, whenever I used to put up a sales or BD role opening, we wouldn't get a lot of CVs. But when I'm putting up like a talent manager role, or when I'm putting a client servicing role, creative strategy role, we're getting way more
Lots of.
CVs. And my point is, okay, I understand why people want to get into talent management. It's a glamorous life. You're getting to be with someone popular. You get to be around them. You get to enjoy a bit of their fame. You get to travel with them. You get shout outs from them on their social media. All of that. But that is temporary stuff. Sales is just in anything. Like, my day-to-day job is to do sales and to manage people. Just two things. Like, I don't get involved in anything else. Because if I'm not able to bring clients in my own company, what face do I show my sales team? Like, what am I telling them that get this job done because I can't get this job done? They will have no respect for me, right? If I can't do something that they can't do, I will never have respect. So, you need to always operate from that lens that at all points of time in your career, you need to challenge your own self. Like, for me, it was like, okay, I got a 7,000 rupee deal, then I got an 80,000 rupee deal, then I got a 5 lakh rupee deal. Then those numbers need to start looking small. Only then you will start feeling like, okay, you're actually growing. Sales is again just talking. You need to be able to grip a person. You need, like, if they yawn, you've left them. You've lost them completely. I saw a few of you guys yawn, but that's separate. But I get it. But yeah, that's the point. Like, be gripping and be confident. And one hack that I use generally for sales is like knowing a little bit about that person. If you're meeting them, it could be the tiniest thing. It could be knowing what food they like, or what drink they like, or what school they went to. so that you could find some kind of a common link with them. That will bring a sense of comfort and safety and relatability to them. They will open up to you. Like, hey, how do you know this person? Oh, we go long back. Like instant click.
That's where it begins.
Yeah, then you'll either bitch about that person together, which will bring you closer. Like nothing brings people closer than the hatred for a thing or a person. Right? Is it not facts? Yeah.
We just met today, and when I was settling him down, we spoke about some common people, and we shared a laughter, and then
Yeah.
we came up.
Yeah, correct. Correct.
Then we came up.
Yeah. It's easy. So figure that out. If there's no common people, like talk about like if do they like sports, okay? Engage them in conversation and then get to the point.
So, quick question on like Payscales.
Yeah.
They're all 21-year-olds. They're doing a PG program over here. What's like the low pay scale, and then over 2, 3, 4, 5 years, what can be a high pay scale? If you're a good performer, like you spoke about giving someone 200% appraisal.
Yeah.
So what's the, if someone has to do a job
Yeah.
at MonkE or any
Yeah.
organization, since you're an employer of 110 people, what are pay scales looking like today for client servicing or for sales?
So I mean, I think starter salaries, if you're a 21-year-old first job, we're looking at 30, 40 grand a month. We're also investing heavily in grooming you, etc. It's just about, generally when you're doing a job, if your manager or boss has to tell you to do that one time or two times, you're not catching their attention enough. You need to put yourself in a position where you are really shaking things up in the organization, making yourself feel heard. Most of the people are just getting through their jobs. And the thing is, as 21, 22-year-olds, I don't understand that. And I'm going to say something ridiculous,
Go for it.
but you guys don't need work-life balance. You are 22. Like, just
All the educators over here are clapping.
you have nothing important to do in life. Nothing. You're not getting married. You don't have kids. Most of you guys, I'm assuming, will not have responsibility of your parents. And if you do, I get that. You should allocate some time to that. But dude, what else are you guys doing in life? You have 24 hours in a day. You guys are all just doom scrolling. That is what is happening. So might as well put that doom scrolling to good use and work in an organization that works in content and influencers and put 2 to 2 and understand how to drive revenue to that. Now, if I was a 22-year-old looking for a job, but I'm addicted to Instagram, what I would do is I would go to an organization like ours and say that, okay, guys, I can drive revenue to you guys. This is how I will do it. What are the top brands that are investing in influencer marketing? What are the top 40, 50 influencers that are not signed by any agency? Go to a talent agency, say that, why are you guys not signing these people? This is why they will blow up on the internet in the next 2 years. Like, do some basic, it's that simple. Like, if I didn't have my own company, I know I would easily land a job anywhere. It's just like all employers and all companies have some weaknesses. All of them. I'll actually tell you a little bit about one of my friends who landed a job at Apple. Okay, she's the only non-engineer person to land a job at Apple in India. All she does is she's perpetually on the internet, just 24/7, and she connects her being on the internet with a deeper level of psychology as to why are certain people getting viral? Why is this piece of content consumed by so many more people? Why did this video not work? Social media is all a play of psychology only. Like why when a person, for example, I don't know if you guys have seen like say Carrie Minati's videos, right?
Yeah.
It's easy just from the background to know that this is his room.
Yeah.
Elements like that, they stick in your brain. Like these are all recall values. So what she did is she just built a whole study out of this. She started observing things on the internet. Now she knows exactly what to say, what hook to use in order for a video to go viral. She uses that as a side gig to consult with people that are trying to grow on social media. Like there are a lot of people that have a lot of money but have zero presence on social media. They're now starting to realize that I need to grow on social media. they will pay you a hell of a lot of money to help them go viral. As 21, 22-year-olds, you guys get this. This is your competitive advantage. This is what a 40-year-old will not know about. What I'm seeing now because of social media is, again, that shift is happening at such a big scale. You don't need experience for this. In fact, like I told you guys, I don't hire 35, 40-year-olds because they're not perpetually on the internet. For the work that we do, I need people that are always on the internet, that know meme references, that have seen TV shows, that understand what, I don't know if you guys have been following the Olympics, but that Turkish guy with no equipment, that's pop culture. Anything that comes on puberty, for example, as news, that's the new way of consuming news, not Aaj Tak or India Today, right? News today is being consumed by memes.
Totally.
What do brands want in the marketing? Memes. What do creators want to engage with? Memes. It's a creator's dream to become a meme, honestly, so that they could have more virality. So all of this you guys have, like, your parents will not know these things, a 40-year-old will not know these things, but you will know these things. This is your ammunition. If you don't use it to make money, you are the product then that is getting used. You are basically making money. Dude, you guys know all these creators. If you're not monetizing this, you are making money for us.
By watching.
You are my money makers. And yes, you will get some takeaways, of course. But if you're not doing anything out of it, you're just helping someone else make money. So if you are perpetually on the internet and you have all these skill sets, put it to use. This could be across any industry. It could be across sports. It could be across music. It could be across pop culture. Anything.
So I just want to very simply, as your professor and as your educator, it's very simple. A lot of you guys come back saying when the job market opens up, oh, I'll finish the program and only then will I sign up for an internship. Like,
No,
you know,
that's a bad call.
Like you did all your internships during college, right?
yeah,
During
yeah.
college, right? I did all my internships, IIDs, because I did internships during my education,
Yeah.
right? And there is no sense of work-life balance when you're 20 to 30.
Yeah.
Right? I think the only driving force is sales.
Sales. I mean, and like you need to get somewhere, no? Like if you are trying to get that date, I mean, your social status is also going to matter a lot. Let's be honest. Like it always matters. I mean, in today's generation, so I believe there's no such thing as love. Like you need to, and it has always been in the past also. Like you need to upgrade yourselves in life generally. If you want to take her out on that date to Soho House, you're going to get a bill of 5,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees. Where's that money coming from? Make that money. Like it's important. For example, that if you are already skilled enough, for example, I am identifying that skill set. I will hire you immediately. Which is why doing your internships, for example, is important during your education so that you can get a pre-placement offer once you have graduated. So that's the skill set. Like that's what's important. Honestly, I don't think BBAs really like makes, even MBAs don't make sense effectively in today's time. This is the kind of education that will help you get real skills. That okay, how do you plan your media budgets? How, like, what is performance marketing? How do you make content, right? How do you have screen presence? How do you pitch to a brand? You know, stuff like that. All that is way more important than, I don't even know what they teach in BBA anymore.
I am a BBA student myself, but to be very honest, all my learning only comes from the internships I did. Like IIDE is because of the 3 internships I did, where I even met them 10 years ago. So I strongly recommend everybody to utilize your time and forget the work-life balance.
And write to people, man. Like, what's the worst? They will say no. Like, write to founders, write to HRs, write to companies that you want to work in. It could be any company, man. If you have the right kind of just curiosity, forget expertise. Curiosity, they will want to hire you because they know they will, your attitude is in the right place, that your skill set can be built over time. But have that kind of attitude where you want to come in and learn and shake things up. or else you are just a cog in the wheel, man.
You know,
It's no fun being that.
I'll just tell you, and there are so many students in the past who will say, I am waiting for the placement cell to give me an offer.
No, why
Till
are you
then-
being so entitled?
Till then, I will not move, and till then, I will sit on my seat and I will wait. You haven't called me, your fault.
Yeah.
Dude, like,
You need the job. Like,
you want to be where he is.
the power dynamic is not in your favor right now. Simply that. Like, right now, there are thousands of people like you. You need to, like, move things. Like, I've had people you guys are at least in Bombay, dude. So that's already a competitive advantage that you have over others. I have had people write to me from like tier 2, tier 3 cities and just write a very comprehensive email on what we are missing and what our mistakes are. And I ended up hiring them and moving them to Bombay. And they've taken leaps and bounds in their own lives because they took matters in their own hands. Dude, ownership is everything in life. Like, if you don't own up to your own fate and feel like you need to change your own fate right now, you will just be driven by other factors. Like, everyone else will push you around. So then you will end up where you want, where life takes you, not where you want to land, basically. So I think it's just reaching out to more people. Go to these events, man. Like, for you guys now, the world has opened up. And there's so many newer businesses, cooler businesses to work at. There are sneaker companies, there are streetwear companies, beauty brands, like incredible amount of work happening, especially now, right? Back then, there wouldn't even be that many interesting companies to work at. Like, at best, I know, like in 2017, maybe Nykaa was a hotter spot to work at from a brand lens, and like Shebang, Kinects of the world from an agency lens. So now you guys have way more options. Now you can work for creators also, individual creators that have some scale are hiring for personal teams, editors, videographers, ops heads, things like that, because they're individually able to run businesses. Like, for example, Food Farmer is a very good friend of mine.
The Kolkata, Revant.
Yeah, Revant. So there are no people in the market. He's been looking for a CEO for his health school that he started since about 6 to 8 months now. Now, the point is that he will any day hire a very aggressive and thoughtful 23-year-old as the CEO instead of a 35-year-old who does not know the industry. So my point is, you guys don't even need to climb the corporate ladder now. Like, there are so many opportunities. It's your loss if you don't bag them. Like, that's what I'll say.
So, my friends, after today's session, everybody has to wake up with more ambition.
Yeah.
The reason to catch you in early and to bring him in over here is to tell you that even you can at a much earlier age, and you don't. And the one thing that he said, which I absolutely fell in love with, is that your age right now is your competitive advantage. You scrolling on Instagram for 3 hours is your competitive advantage, which no 40-year-old can do.
Yeah.
So you don't need to climb that corporate ladder, but you can start today. And so, guys, y'all are the competitive advantage.
I mean, you guys understand how the Gen Z speaks, no? You guys are Gen Z. When a 40-year-old does that, it's cringe. Right? Like, use that. All brands want to only target Gen Z because you guys are stupid enough to spend all your money on crap things. So, yeah, consumerism. Fuck yeah. So, I mean, instead of consuming, start creating. Like, that's important.
You know, yesterday, just very random, and some of my colleagues are here. IIDE has a marketing head. He's 42. Okay, and we were in the conference room yesterday, and we were trying to change the copies on our landing page, which says "Learn from CXO."
Yeah.
That's what it said. So he comes to the meeting and he's like, "Drop the word CXO." So everyone in my marketing team is like, "Why?" No one understands CXO, it has to only be CEO.
Yeah.
And he's a 42-year-old who's not understanding that CXO is really common jargon amongst like 21-year-olds. And all my marketing team is laughing in the middle saying,
Yeah.
Isko pata nahi, CXO is a common
Yeah.
thing."
Correct. Yeah.
So all I'm trying to say is that the 40-year-old can't think. Some local things, while they are very smart and I appreciate him on
Yeah.
his level, but we have some understanding in terms of lingo,
Yeah.
which they don't have, and that's your competitive advantage today.
Absolutely, man.
So I want to ask you something like which everyone's talking about these days. Firstly, I want to talk about a little bit about AI, but we're running short now in time. So 2, 3 quick questions about AI. You know, I've been seeing AI influencers where there's no human being.
Yeah.
Have you encountered anything related to that?
I have a very contrarian view to AI. I feel like the more AI infiltrates us, the more there will be a need for human influencers. Because people will start, I think I already have started creating a blind spot for AI, all things AI. Like I know when something is too perfect, it's AI. So I will just ignore it. Like when, for example, there is a person or a content creator that is AI generated, I can spot it from a mile away now. Uh, so I feel like people will start, like how we have a blind spot for ads generally, we will start having a blind spot for all things AI, and hence you will need more human intervention and more human interaction. So from that lens, I think the content creation industry is at least safe. How AI will help is in terms of editing. So doing all the labor work, AI can come in, scrape through stuff, give me the final output. So that's where AI will really disrupt, and it will only help the people that are doing those things manually so far will now be able to automate it.
Do you think that multilingual content, because India is like a 28 language spoken country,
Yeah.
do you think that multilingual content and content repurposing in like different languages can be done by AI and we can leave it there? Like Beer Biceps is going Hindi, you know, is going vernac, and so many other content creators
Yeah.
are going. What's your view on vernacular content for India as a country?
I think that's another avenue where AI will really help. Where if you can generate almost human sounding voices with AI in regional languages, you will be able to scale those channels way faster. So we're also now starting to use some AI tools to generate like content for Bear Biceps in Tamil, for example, in Telugu. Because that, I mean, the content that he makes can be viewed by anyone. Like honestly, it's just a conversation between two people, right? So it's not like specific to a region. So that will help. I mean, this is something Nas Daily has done really well.
Yeah.
Where he exists in like 21 languages, and he's using AI to do these.
Tell us, I want to know one thing about YouTube earnings.
Yeah.
Forget the brands paying you.
Yeah.
But as a YouTube creator, when you put out content on YouTube, YouTube pays you, right? For the ads that play.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
So like the CPM, which is cost per thousand views, is generally super low in India. And also it varies between categories. So like the kids category has the highest cost per thousand views, and English speaking content has the highest like CPM. As opposed to like say comedy in Hindi or regional will give you the lowest kind of CPMs. But if you're doing say like 300-400K views a month, or say okay, if you're doing 1 million views a month,
That's Ranveer.
yeah, so if you're doing 1 million views a month, you could stand to make anywhere between 50,000 to 60,000 rupees. So
A million views a month.
yeah, so it's but this is long form views, not short form.
Long form, how long?
Long form is 10 to 15 minutes episode, because short form, like on shorts, the monetization hasn't come yet. So your million views on shorts you can get, but then that doesn't account for any revenue.
So for your organization or for Ranveer,
Yeah.
is there more money through brands or through YouTube views?
So Ranveer is an exception to the norm. He runs like 10 YouTube channels, and he has significantly high like average watch time per video, and like a lot of his, like he does 2 million views, almost 1 to 2 million views on average
Per
per video,
video.
per 1 hour long podcast.
Wow.
So that's a huge, like Ranveer may be in the top 3 or 5 highest earners on YouTube. But that's also because that's the amount of content he generates. There's like almost 3 or 4 podcasts going out like every week.
Every week.
Yeah, like two.
What's the schedule like? Every day he's
Every
shooting?
day there's a podcast shoot. Yeah.
Every day there's a shoot.
There's a shoot, and on some days there's 2 podcast shoots.
Whoa.
So I mean,
That's
you have
commitment.
to be a tank to generate this kind of content, and you have to be completely detached to the outcome to the emotions, all of that stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
So YouTube money is not that big. If you start off as a beauty content creator on Instagram, you have 100K followers, you can stand to make 1 to 3 lakh rupees every month. Because a lot of brands are even working with now micro creators as well.
Yeah, some of my students are like at 50K, 100K,
Yeah.
200K, 20K, 30K. Do
Yeah.
they stand a chance to like get
Yeah, yeah,
partnerships?
absolutely, absolutely. I
Like
mean,
a
I'm
nano
sure-
creator, like 30K,
Yeah.
40K.
I'm sure some of you guys already get reach outs from brands and all. The amounts may vary. Like some of you guys might get barter deals and all that. But yeah, there's like, see, like beauty as a category will pay a lot because I mean, that industry targets the biggest insecurity. It's the highest paid industry, and like every female uses some kind of beauty product. Now even men have started using beauty products.
Yeah.
So that audience is only expanding. Plus, I mean, even men now have night routines and morning routines and all that. So skincare brands are going through the roof. So all that will only keep increasing as more, like serums and vitamin C and I don't even know all the terms. So as that infiltrates the market, more of that will happen to a point where we will all get to a stage where we realize that fuck, we just need a nice face wash. That does the job. But then there will be some more ads and lobbying that will come, which will tell you that no, you need these 10 products also. Still, that is happening. I think it works. Yeah. So beauty, if you're doing,
Do you use any
I
morning
have
routine or
yeah,
night routine?
I have Cetaphil face wash. And yeah, I use like, for example, I discovered this brand called DU.
Okay.
Dew or whatever, I don't know what's it called. Yeah, but they have like the coolest packaging and they have like a nice product, and also I started using their moisturizer. But yeah, cool like that moisturizer and face wash. Yeah,
And as a college going kid, did you have any?
no, nothing.
Nothing.
I had Medimix or whatever Lux or whatever. Nah.
Okay, so we're coming down to one last question.
Yeah.
And then we have a coffee with Karan rapid fire.
Ah, okay, fab.
The one thing is that some of them want to start their digital agencies.
Huh.
Many IID students within 2 years of doing a job
Yeah.
end up setting up their own digital. They go back to their hometown. So many of them are. How many non-Mumbaikars over here?
Crazy.
Quite some, right? They're all traveling from different cities and they're coming here to stay a year with us. They go back to their hometowns, set up their own agencies. So today, the year is 2024, 2025, coming soon. I want to set up my own digital agency. You're an established digital marketing agency owner. What were some key elements, niches? What should they like typically focus on, or is it sales?
No, I think also focus on what niche you're building in for like the region that you're operating in. Who's the biggest player? And what does it take for you to get there in 3 years, for example? So if you're in Indore, what are the kind of clients that exist in your vicinity, right? Are there more mithai shops? Are there more financial institutions? Are there, like, it could be whatever, right? So basis that, what are the services that you always need to chase the money trail? So what does a mithai shop owner need? He needs more customers. Who are his customers? Right now, only older people. Okay, younger people also eat sweets. How do I get younger people to this guy's mithai shop? If I get more younger people to his mithai shop, his revenue will increase. If his revenue is increasing from a revenue source that he didn't even know existed, he will pay me top dollar for my services. So simple, like that's how you need to think. Money is very easy. Yaar. If you make money for someone else, they will want to make money for you. That's it. Nothing else matters. Like then figure out your systems on how to make that money. Chase the money trail always.
Many students sometimes feel that doing social media marketing for a brand and you should pay me. But doing social media marketing for a brand should move into sales.
Yeah, correct.
Is when you get paid. Can you
It's just vanity metrics, no? It's just likes and followers. Usse kya hoga? The mithai shop owner anyway does not believe in digital marketing. You get it? Now, if you charge him like a 50,000 retainer, and all you have to show is just, अरे देखो आपकी कितने followers और likes बढ़ गए, he's going to not give a fuck. He doesn't care. No, he's running a business. For him, it's like, "Oi, how much footfall do I have because of the social media page? Does it even matter? He doesn't care about building a brand probably because he's been running the same shop for 20 years. He's taking home profit. He's living a good life. So, good life. But yeah, so it needs to result in sales.
Into sales, right? Okay, with that note, I think we're going to be done with all the questions now.
Okay,
We're
awesome.
very hungry and we're going to do a very quick 1 minute round of rapid fire. If you guys like his answers or dislike his answer, what are you going to do? Yeah? Okay, let's try. Very simple. It's a this or that.
Okay.
Okay, so very little explanation.
Yeah.
Absolutely this or that. Okay, I'm looking at the content my team has written right now. But let's begin.
Go for it.
Okay, morning person, night person.
Now morning person.
Ah,
Yeah.
what's the change?
No, I've just started playing sports and I try to sleep early. It's early still 1 a.m. for me, but now I have a friend who I work out with or play sports with, and he ends up calling me at 6 a.m. to wake me up,
Okay.
and I make no excuses.
Nice. What sport is this?
So everything we try different sports every time. So we did squash, we did pickleball, we play cricket, or we'll weight train.
Not bad. Yeah.
So,
I keep seeing your gym
Yeah,
Instagram where
yeah,
you're like,
needs to keep happening. At this age, like I've ignored my health for 7 years while trying to build the company. And when you're in your late 20s, you understand, okay? That, okay,
Yeah.
health is wealth was not just one cliche, boring, like thought for the day written on the board. It's really true.
Okay. Video meetings or in-person meetings?
I actually tweeted about this recently that I hate doing in-person meetings where I have to like travel a long time to meet someone in Bombay only. I just prefer to do a video call if it's not a vibe check meeting I need to do. If it's just like I worked with this person and I need to do a transaction, like why do I need to meet you in person again? Just let's do the deal. Like it's simple. But there are also certain meetings that definitely need an in-person session because you need to be able to bond with this person. Most people actually end up working on vibe check, right? So if you vibe with them, they will have a certain bias towards you, and you need to constantly create those biases for yourself with various clients and people.
Okay. Mountain life or beach life?
Beach,
Beach.
any day. Yeah.
Any day. Why?
I get dizzy traveling to the mountains.
Okay, what's your favorite drink? Tea, coffee, whiskey, vodka?
Orange juice.
Oh!
I'm not a tea coffee person, and I'm also not a whiskey. I hate vodka. Like I've had the worst times of my best and worst times of my life with vodka involved, but I'm beyond that phase of like vodka completely. So
Okay.
I'll do a beer every once in a while just to chill.
Saturday night, party hard, live it low.
I mean, I think there are some days still where I'm like, let's like go out and like really party, dance to Bollywood numbers, but that's like 2 nights in a year. So like.
But Viraj at
definitely.
25?
Uh, I was still that way. Like I was never too big on clubbing. I would still prefer like meeting someone at a.
Suno.
Yeah.
Suno.
ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. I think everyone is a different person. Clubbing has its own benefits. Like if you're doing some kind of flirting and sales while clubbing, it can be of good use. It can be of good use.
Okay. Consuming content from a book, like reading a
Yeah.
book, or consuming content through video?
So I don't have the attention span because I'm addicted to content, and also because of I like to use the excuse that I'm in the industry, so so it helps. But yeah, like I've read very few books in my life. Unfortunately, I'm not proud of it. But I think video is how I consume content way easier.
Way easier.
Yeah, way easier. Like I just read summaries of books now on video. Like okay, explain it to me. Quickly tell me what happens in Ikigai or like whatever the book.
So
is
if
popular.
Viraj Sheth opened his Instagram right now,
Yeah.
and if you had to tell me any of your two favorite top content creators,
Ah.
who would it be that you are right now consuming
So
this year?
one is I don't know if you guys know this Vijay 3 guy. Like
Vijay 3 guy.
okay, very few like he's supremely popular, but he's this creator from he lives in a tier 3 city, and he just does like whacked up like bullshit content.
Vijay? Hey,
Vijay
team,
3
write it
guy.
down. Vijay?
Vijay 3 guy, his handle is, no? Yeah.
Okay.
So just like fucked up content. Nothing like it's crazy. And there's this other channel. I don't remember the name, but these are two guys with Down syndrome. They're just cooking. And they are just bullshitting, just cooking and doing random shit. They're damn cute. But I think now what's happened is we're moving beyond content creators. I just scroll through reels, so whatever.
Reels.
Like individually, there are so many people that are funny that may not have as many followers, but one reel popped. So I consume that.
Okay, YouTube or Instagram?
Uh, YouTube for growth, and if you're a creator, for long-term money and all. But Instagram for the coolness factor. Like Instagram is a cooler platform.
But YouTube is for
For
seriousness.
long-term growth, yeah.
For long-term growth.
Yeah.
Wow. Most of us think of Instagram as primary, and now that you're saying
Yeah.
YouTube is primary, you're saying.
See, YouTube also pays you per view and all that, right? Plus YouTube, you build a better community. Like any YouTuber will always have a way better community than an Instagrammer. Anyone. Take from a Mr. Beast to a Ranveer to someone who has 100K subscribers on YouTube.
But YouTube has a stronger community,
Yeah.
hands down.
100%.
Board games, video games.
Actually love both.
Yeah?
I love playing board games.
Any top?
I think like I love Sequence a lot. It's a very old person game. I love Sequence a lot. I love playing Mafia a lot with my friends. Actually,
Nice.
Mafia is the mixer we use in our company also. Like every Friday night, there'll be like 30 people playing Mafia, which is just crazy to me. But yeah, that's fun. And I just bought a PS5 recently. I had an Xbox when I was in my 7th grade, which I had gotten after throwing tantrums with my father. It was very uncool of me to do that at that point. But then I got a PS5 like a month ago. So I started playing a lot of PS5 now. I think video games are also a great way to just understand emotions, what's happening in the ecosystem, all of that. So if you're gaming, do that. I don't think it's a waste of time, but do it in some kind of a limit. That's it.
Okay, so now this is not a this or that question, but it's a one thing you notice kind of a question. Okay. Interview. Young kid comes to your cabin who's passed some rounds and now has come to you and you are gonna
Yeah.
hire. What's the make or break?
I think if they're like too arrogant, like for example, I don't expect anything from that person. But if that person comes in and tells me that I'm the best hire you've ever had, or like overcommits, and I have zero expectation because they're a fresher, right? So like comes in and is too cocky, like that's a put off generally because there's a thin line between confidence and being cocky. So that's usually the case. But yeah, I mean, I try not to judge them by just straight first appearance. I like to ask them a few questions and all. Yeah.
Okay, I think the last one on my list is Bollywood or Hollywood.
Uh, Content creators.
Okay, is there any other last words you want to say? It's open to you, man.
I think just be ambitious. Like seriously, the world is your oyster now that you guys have graduated and will graduate from this also in a year almost. Opportunity. There has never been a point of time in the existence of humanity where there has been so much opportunity available to make money than right now, and it's only going to keep expanding. Like I have friends who are makeup artists that are making multiple lakhs a month. It's insane to me because I mean, just content creation as an industry has opened up so many avenues. You can be a makeup artist, you can be a video editor, you can be an ops person in a content creator's life, you can be a salesperson, anything. So, world is your oyster. Really use it to your strengths. Identify your strengths. You'll identify them by doing internships, by talking to people. Some of you are good thinkers, some of you are creative people, some of you are good talkers. It could be whatever that some of you are good like with Excels and PPTs. Each person in my team has like a different skill set. So Just focus on that and build on top of that. Make money, have fun. Like, you're 21, 22, dude. Like, I would give away a lot of money to come back to that age. Like, it's a very anxious period because also you don't know where your life will take you 5 years from now. But just have fun while doing this. Like, that's the key to it. There's so much going on in your personal lives. There will be so much going on in your professional lives, but just like learn to have fun and be curious, meet people, go out on dates, like take opportunities, watch shows, consume content, but also put that much out there. Like, I know most of you guys think creating content is cringe. Get over that cringe factor of yourself, because yeah, your friends will try to put you down saying कि क्या कर रहा है यार, ये क्या कैसे videos बना रहा है वगैरह वगैरह, but they're the same ones that will laud you once you have like some kind of success in it. So if you want to be a creator, get over the cringe factor. But yeah, I mean, nothing else, dude. Just like, this is the age to like seriously like try things,
Explore.
yeah, and have fun. You have no like nothing restricting you, man. Just be out there. Like, reach out to anyone who you think you aspire.
Cold
to.
email.
Cold email and all that. Do it. Cold DM is the game now, not even email. So yeah, do that.
Okay, guys, on that note, let's give a huge round of applause to Viraj. I must tell you that maybe, by the way, you don't know this, but the first super session 8 years ago at IID was me hosting Ranveer.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So, and now 8 years later, we have you here. But I must tell you that this was by far one of the, and I can tell my audience, one of the most entertaining super
glad.
sessions we've had out there in a very long time.
I'm glad.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
And I think the relatability factor is what really rocked the audience. So thank you so much, Viraj.